Hey y'all, our group is Fabricio Vielmo, Katelyn Tiwald, Franco, and Joseph Scanlon. We had the Station Nightclub Fire. Project title is It's Gonna Be a Killer Show. This is a quote from Jack Russell, the night of the fire, the lead singer of the band who performed The Great White. On the night of February 20th, 2003, a fire breaks out at the Station nightclub in West Warwick, Rhode Island. The fire took 97 lives of patrons that could not evacuate the building in time, panicking and jamming themselves at the main entrance. 3 additional people died within 70 days of the fire due to injuries. The fire was also responsible for 230 non-fatal injuries. The nightclub had an attendance of 450 patrons that night. 27% of the patrons escaped the incident with no injury, somehow managed to get out, yet still over half, 51%, suffered a non-fatal injury, and 22% of the patrons died. It is the 4th deadliest nightclub fire in the United States history, number 1 being the Coconut Grove fire, but number 4, the Station nightclub fire. The next video shows how the pyrotechnics were used during the performance and were responsible for the soundproofing foam to ignite and starting the fire. Watch the video. As you see, within about 90 seconds, large amounts of billowing black smoke, thick black smoke, are coming out of the windows, coming out of the doorway, completely engulfing the entire nightclub. As you see in the video, the fire started on the raised platform, indicated on the floor plan here by the star. As you saw, the pyrotechnics were as big as an adult, well within range to catch the room on fire. Within 9 seconds, the flames were visible on the wall, and finally, almost 30 seconds later, the alarm was heard. According to the National Fire Protection Agency, NFPA, the building was engulfed in flames in less than 6 minutes. The first 911 calls were made from the scenes. The interior finish of the building was a big contributor for the fire because it was ignited easily and allowed a fast spread. According to the International Fire Service Training Association, interior finishes your exposed interior surfaces of buildings, fixed walls, movable walls, columns, ceilings, basically anything that would be on a building needs to be fire resistant. The material used here is egg crate bedding, and they used it as their soundproofing over the entire station. The egg crate bedding was used as soundproofing, and according to Acoustic First Corporation, this egg crate bedding, which is used as bedding, is not an acoustical product. It ignites immediately, and flames continue to spread even after the fire source is removed from it. Here is a screenshot of the egg crate bedding burning as the flames are spreading. This was done as a test after the incident to show the public the flammability of the acoustic material in the material used on walls for soundproofing in the station nightclub. As you see, it's highly flammable, it's extremely toxic to breathe, and immediate thick black smoke is coming out from this flame. There were other contributing factors that had influences, such as the flame's spread, its movement away from the ignition source, surface burning characteristics of the egg crate bedding, the shape and size and compartment of the building. It was an enclosed space without internal fire barriers. The composition, orientation, and thickness of materials of the walls of the egg crate bedding, the ventilations, and of course, obviously, the materials all over the entire station. In Kilnoff's Introduction to Fire Protection and Emergency, he lists 3 direct factors for the flames in the station nightclub. One was the proximity of the highly flammable polyurethane foam, aka egg crate bedding, and the sparks from the pyrotechnics. The building had no automatic sprinklers, no sprinkler system whatsoever, which caused the fire to grow out of control. No suppression system, ding, ding, ding. Exits couldn't handle all the patrons to leave in the building in such a short period of time as well. Here's some aftermath pictures of the fire. Imagine if you were on a salvage crew for this. The NIST conducted a study on the survivability inside the structure using computer and physical simulations. They studied the effect that a sprinkler system could have had tenability inside the building. Researchers found that conditions became untenable approximately 90 seconds after ignition. Had sprinklers been present and activated properly, conditions inside the structure likely would have remained survivable throughout the entirety of the fire. As you see on the left, the entire nightclub is engulfed in flames, and on the right, within 90 seconds, we still don't have flames. That suppression system would have worked. More responses, NFPA to the station nightclub came up with 10 specific responses based on observations and research conducted on the station nightclub. National model codes need to be adopted and upgraded, and as well as updated. And that's the minimum requirement to have a national building and fire code covering nightclubs. 2 is to adopt and aggressively enforce the necessity of sprinklers. Get those suppression systems in. They have to be there. Number 3 is to adopt and aggressively enforce existing provision model codes and not to use materials that ignite easily. If it lights on fire really well, you probably shouldn't hang it up on your walls. And adopting the testing of materials that will resist ignition. Number 4 is to not use indoor pyrotechnics without sprinklers installed. Duh. Number 5 is occupancy limits and emergency egress. Adopt a 90-second, minute and a half evacuation in case of emergencies. Number 6 is portable fire extinguishers. Everywhere. Have them available. Number 7 recommends that all authorities adopt and adhere to existing models of mutual aid, communication, command structure, and staffing for emergency response. So really, number 7, get that emergency response honed down. Number 8, research on human behavior. As we saw, that mob mentality push through the front door, collapsing people on top of each other, creating jamming and packing, suffocation in that incident. Number 9 is research on fire spread and suppressions. And number 10, using computer-aided decision tools to create cost and benefits of fire safety technologies, develop computer models to help communities locate resources for a large number of casualty responses. Of course, there were many recommendations brought up from organizations due to the station nightclub. All of those in mind having the safety of patrons and employees of the companies. Rhode Island and Massachusetts rapidly developed legislation to improve fire safety in nightclubs. Maryland and New Hampshire adopted TIA tentative interim amendments, which are processed in accordance with NFPA regulations to act in between addition changes so that there's always emergency plans set. Many of those recommendations were related to higher level enforcements. Others were according to new factors or materials that became part of furniture or components of general products, of walls, of soundproofing, and also lately the urge for understanding of how humans react under such circumstances and how to make better resources if the need is there. This is a Station Nightclub Fire signing off.